Well, thanks for joining us here on Agri-Pulse.com. I'm Spencer Chase, joined now by Zippy Duvall, the president of the American Farm Bureau Federation. And Zippy, I want to talk about some comments that you made at the recent Ag and Food Policy Summit in Washington. You were on a panel that talked a lot about trade and some concerns that you're starting to have with the direction that this country might be heading on trade. What do you and what does the American Farm Bureau hope to see from the Trump administration as it continues to develop its trade agenda?
Well, of course, the NAFTA agreement that they're reworking, we're hoping they're going to not do any harm to the agricultural piece of it, and looks like we're moving forward with that and going to find an ending to that real soon. So we're encouraged that we're going to be okay there. And this morning we heard that the Korean trade agreement was completed, and we think we come out of that without being harmed, and might be some possible gains in it. So we're pretty excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really, it seems like Farm Bureau, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it seems like your organization has been really happy with what the Trump administration has been doing in its opening months and opening year. But trade is an area where your organization is maybe getting a little bit nervous.
We are. When we start talking about trade tariffs, we know that agriculture, we can look back in history, know that agriculture is the first segment of our economy that gets hit. And since we've talked about these tariffs, China has made their intentions known that they would put a tariff on pork, and I think it's fresh fruit and nuts and wine. So the pork industry could be hurt very bad. But you know, we also have a huge soybean market in China, and we're hoping that we can hope that it stays away from that.
Mm-hmm. So as you look forward to the next couple of months of NAFTA talks and even potentially toying around with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, as President Trump has indicated, what should we expect the American Farm Bureau to be publicly pushing for throughout these next couple of months?
Well, of course, we want to find those new markets. We want to finish up renegotiation on the old trade treaties. We want to move forward, find new markets. We understand that the growth in American agriculture is going to be going to depend on us being able to sell these products outside of the country, and to bring some stability to the farm economy. It is going to depend on whether we can sell it outside this country. So as Farm Bureau, we're going to continue to work on the Hill with the administration, USDA, letting them know our feelings, and our feelings are that we want to expand in those areas.
Mm-hmm. For the American Farm Bureau and more broadly for the American farmer, when we're talking about agricultural trade, what's at stake? When Bob Lighthizer and Greg Dowd and the rest of the USTR staff sits down to talk about a new trade agreement, what's at stake for the American farmer?
There's a lot at stake. 20% of our net farm income comes from trade overseas, so that we have a huge stake in this. And every time they start talking about tariffs, so we're at risk of being retaliated against, especially in China. When we start talking about there's 60% of the exports of agricultural exports that goes to China is soybeans, almost a little over $12 billion worth.
Mm-hmm. Zippy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.